بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to dear students. Today, as we know, we are going to start our science class. Okay, so for science, we are starting a very new topic. In the previous class, we have learned about the topic that is grouping living things. Now, today we are here for a very new topic, and that is food chain. Okay, so in this topic, we are going to discuss about food chain. First of all, you have to complete your copy work of the previous chapter, okay? After that, you must having index should be completed, okay? And for this chapter, you have to maintain a title page, okay? And the title page of food chain. So, now we are going to discuss it, what we are going to discuss in this topic. Where does the energy comes from? We will discuss that where does the energy comes from, okay? Energy comes from where? And the next thing we are going to discuss in this topic is what is food chain. We are going to discuss that what is the food chain in actual. Okay, after that we will discuss what are the parts of food chain. After that we will discuss what are the parts of food chain. So these three things we are going to discuss in today's class, that is where does the energy come from and what is the food chain and what are the parts of food chain. So for this you have to take out your textbook and open page number 34. Yes. Living things need energy for everything they do. We have discussing that where does the energy comes from. So first of all, living things need energy for everything they do. But where does this energy come from? For plants and as well as for animals, okay, because plants also need energy and animals also need energy to do something, okay. So this energy comes from food, the energy which we need to do anything, that energy comes from food, okay, as well as it is both for plants and as well as for animals. The energy which we require for doing something comes from the food which we eat, okay. So on the next page, the second question is what is food chain? Now we are going to discuss about the food chain. Food chain, page number, we are on 35. Plants make their food by using the energy of the sun. Plants make their food by using the energy of the sun. First of all, plants make their food. They get their energy from where? They get their energy from sun. They are getting their energy from which source? They are getting their energy from sun, okay? When animals eat these plants, first plant make their energy with the help of sun. They get their energy, okay. Now these plants are eaten by different animals, because we know some animals used to eat plants, so they get that energy, okay. Plant is having energy. When the animal eat that plant, the energy transfer into that animal, okay. The energy gets passed on to them, okay. The energy gets passed on that animal who ate that plant, okay. Think of a rabbit which eats some grass. If we are taking the example of a rabbit, if a rabbit eats some grass, so it means it ate what? It ate some plant. And we know plant make their own energy. That energy they get from sun, okay. So that rabbit which eats some grass and is then eaten by a fox. and after that the fox eat that rabbit. So again the energy transfer from where to where? From rabbit to fox. Okay? The energy passes on from the sun to the grass. The energy passes on from the sun to the grass. First the energy passes from sun to grass. Means plant. First plant get the energy from the sun. After that from the grass to the rabbit. Now the rabbit eat that grass. Okay, it will get the energy from that grass. Okay, so who gain the energy? Rabbit. Now if from the rabbit to the fox, if the fox eat that rabbit, so again the energy will transfer from rabbit to fox. This whole process is known as a food chain. For example, if plant make their food with the help of energy from the sun, and that plant is eaten by rabbits, and the energy which rabbit gain from eating that plant, so rabbit having that energy. After that the fox eat that rabbit, so the energy goes to fox. This whole process is called a food chain. Okay? The whole process is called food change. A food change is important. Now, why it is important? Because it helps pass energy from one living thing to another. Okay? Food change is very important because it passes energy from one living thing to another. Now you can see example here. A food change is already made here in your book. You can see a grass here. That grass is eaten by a rabbit. Okay? And that rabbit is eaten by fox. So energy transfer from these one animal to another animal. Now the third question is, what are parts of food chain? So we will discuss parts of food chain. A food chain is made up of sun, producers, consumers and decomposers. A food chain is made up of the sun, producers, consumers and decomposers. Okay? So we have done the reading. Now we will see where does the energy comes from. Now you will give me the answer. Where does the energy comes from? We get it that the energy we get from sun. Yes. And what we have studied? What is the food chain? If the energy transfer from one animal to another, so we can say it's a food chain. Okay, for example, grass is eaten by rabbit and rabbit is eaten by fox. So grass is having energy. It gets from sun. As we know, plant make their food from the energy of sun. Now that energy transfer to rabbit. Why? Because this rabbit eat that grass. Okay? It is eaten by rabbit. So if it is eaten, so the rabbit get the complete energy of the grass. Now the energy transfer from grass to rabbit. Okay? Now the fox eat that rabbit. So rabbit is having the energy. If that fox eat that rabbit, so as we know the energy will transfer to fox. Okay? So these food chain transfers and the energy also get transfers, because for doing something we must need some energy. Okay? For doing something, as for example I am walking, for walking purpose I need some energy, and that energy comes from food which I ate. And as I am talking about a human, so we also eat plants as well as animal. Okay? For example, I gave you example of a grass again eaten by a cow. Okay, and that cow we can eat. So we get the final energy of that grass because grass is the producer. We will get to know it later. So grass is the producer, then the grass is eaten by a cow and that cow is eaten by a man. Okay. So this is a food chain. Now what are the parts of food chain? So we can say first part is sun. How can we say? Because the sun is the first which gives the energy. Okay. To which producer, because plant make their own food, they produce their own food, so we call them producers. Producers are those who can produce their own food. Plant make their own food because plant needs only energy to make their food, because so that's why plant is producers. Consumer, we can say, which eat that producer, we can call them consumers. Okay, and the decomposers we will discuss it later. Now I have told you in the previous lecture we are having some herbivores. Yes, so I told you that those animals who eat plants, we call them herbivore. Okay, and who are the producers? Who produce their food themselves. Producers are who make their own food. So we call them producer. What about herbivores? Who eat plants. Okay, so can you tell me the grass is? Yes, the grass is producer because it's a plant and it makes their own food with the help of sun. Yes, first of all the plant gets energy from the sun and then it will transfer that energy in making its food. So that will become producer because they make their own food. And producer we call who make their own food. Okay, so the plant is producer. Okay, after that consumer, herbivore who eat plants. Herbivores are those who eat plants, so we call them consumers. Okay, later on we will discuss some more new terms. So this is all about today's lecture. Now let's move toward the homework part. So I have told you that you have to first maintain the title page. Okay, in the copy you have to do what? First of all you have to maintain title page. After that on the very next page you have to maintain the page for words meaning. As we know, we have done before also that we will maintain two columns, words and meanings. Okay, after that on the next page you will maintain the page for questions answer. You will write down the heading on the right line and then you will write question answer. We are doing 3 question answer and it must be done in your copy. Now have a look on homework. Okay. There are 4 words meaning: decomposers, scavengers, essential and ecosystem. The meanings are tiny insects, scavengers who eat dead animals, essential must, ecosystem complex network. Okay, so we are having 4 words meaning and on the very next page you have to do what? You will do questions answer. So let's have a look here. Number 1 question. Where does all the energy come from? Okay? Where does all the energy come from? How it is passed on to us? Now we have to tell here 2 answers. Where does all the energy come from? Okay, this is the 1 question. How it is passed on to us? Now, how it will pass to us? Answer is all energy comes from the sun. The first source of energy is sun. All energy comes from the sun. It is passed on to us through food, because we eat food and we get what? We get energy, okay? By eating food. Question number 2. Give the example of a simple food chain. Okay? Here we have to give some example of a simple food chain. So we give a corn, then we will make a arrow. It indicates it is eaten by that. Okay? Corn is eaten by rat and the rat is eaten by owl. Okay? So it's a simple food chain. Now question number 3. What are the parts of a food chain? Now we have to discuss about the parts of a food chain. Answer is a food chain made up of sun, producer, consumer and decomposer. So these 4 are the parts of food chain. What are the parts? Sun, producer, consumer and decomposer. So right now in today's class we will do only 3 question answer and 4 words meaning. So hope you all understand this. Now this is all about today's class. Hope you all enjoyed the class and Allah Hafiz and take care.